Welcome back to another episode of Football Tailgaters podcast, where we talk all NFL, including fantasy and setting up your bets. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Colin Kaepernick and a little bit of the Deshaun Watson situation. So here today, I have with me Andy, the unbiased sports fan or football fan, and then I have Yams, the Texan Jets fan, and I'm Aaron, your Cowboys fan. So I'm going to go a little bit on the details and pull out that question. We're going to go backwards here again, and we're going to talk about the situation with Deshaun Watson. And we'll ask the question, how does it make the NFL look when the Browns give Watson a contract when he has been accused of assault? So, Andy, I'm going to let you elaborate on that a little bit more and give us some details about the situation.
Yeah, sure. So it's kind of been a strange kind of journey for Deshaun Watson as the Houston Texans quarterback. When he got accused of sexually assaulting 22 women, they were, I think, massage therapists. That's when basically all the media came into the attention of Deshaun Watson. And it happened, I believe it happened, let me check the exact date. On March of 2021. So it's been a little bit over a year. And there was two districts that charged them. Basically was in Arizona, and I think the other one was in Nevada, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, 22 women allegedly set up allegations against Deshaun Watson for sexual misconduct and coercion in their massage therapy sessions. So that case has been going on for a while until March, which ironically it's a year later. The grand jury that reviewed the lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson by the 22 women was actually dropped because they said that there was insufficient evidence.
Yeah.
So what that means is basically that he's not going to be charged with with being a criminal, basically. So those charges were dropped, but the case, the suing of the women against Deshaun Watson, that's still on. And there's reports that is going to be actually the trial we're looking until at least April of 2023. So that's still almost a year from now, and it looks like he's gonna have to settle. And just by calculations and history, people are thinking that it's probably gonna be around a $1.5 to $2.5 million settlement per woman, which is 22 women. So they're looking around from $35 to $55 million. As a settlement for this case. Now, it really depends. So that's the situation happening right now. So and there was two women that came out from the 22 women that accused them. They were in a show with an HBO show, and they were just appalled that the Cleveland Browns actually gave him a massive contract, and he still has this case currently still on. So, I mean, it really depends, in my opinion, it really depends on how you look at the situations in a law perspective. Either one, you look at the law and saying you're basically, you're tried as, how do you say it? Until you're proven guilty, basically. You're not charged until you're proven guilty. So you're innocent until proven guilty. There we go. And so that's one way of looking at it. And instead of like condemning him, you just have to look at it and put like, well, until if he's guilty, then yeah, then you charge him and you whatever needs to happen to him so he can pay back those. I mean, whatever, if it is what he did. Or you can look at it as like, you know what, if somebody is charging him, that these 22 women are charging him, like everything should be on pause until he gets acquitted, basically, that whatever the trial happens, which is again until April. So it really depends, in my opinion, how you take the law and how you see the law. Either innocent until proven guilty, or you just hold everything on until he is been acquitted. So that's the situation that's going right now. I don't know if I can give my opinion on what I think, how the NFL looks at this moment. Like I said, it's either you go on either way. But I mean, first of all, I guess I kind of want to take your I want to hear your opinion before I give mine, Yams, since you're a girl. I want to hear a woman's perspective on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get canceled so quickly in my career here.
Well, I mean, a couple of things went through my head, right? One thing is, did the Me Too moment end? And usually they just take the woman's, 22 women's accusations against him pretty seriously. But look, I look at these women and I understand that they are upset, going through some kind of dramatic situation with Deshaun Watson, and later on in news, seeing that he's getting such a huge contract. I'm pretty sure that's a little upsetting. I don't know what situation they went through when they were massaging him. I don't know the details. But I'm pretty sure something went down that made them uncomfortable. These two women who decided to go on HBO, I mean, that's fine. They have their own voice. They should be able to speak. They should have the rights to voice their truth, or at least their truth. And when I look at 22 women that came out and accused Deshaun Watson, that is quite a lot of women. Maybe a few of them are, jumping on the wagon. Maybe not. They're not as serious, but I'm pretty sure some of those are. What I'm confused is, you mentioned that it went through some kind of justice system, and they went through basically a grand jury, and they have said that there is not enough evidence at this time.
So they dropped the charges again.
So they dropped the charges at this time, and there won't be a trial at least this year, right?
No, until April of next year. So, but they're not going to criminally prosecute him. Basically, it's just the lawsuit against Deshaun Watson that they're going to be looking at until April of next year. But you started saying a Me Too movement in the beginning of your statement. Are you saying that this could be correlated to, like, in what way is this correlated to the Me Too movement? Are you saying that women are coming out to say what happened to them, and that everybody that had some type of altercation or some type of an aggression towards them, they're coming out and finally, like, they're feeling the courage to come out? Or are you feeling that there are some women that are just coming up in the bandwagon here with the Me Too movement, taking advantage of the situation?
I mean, I did say that there might be some, but I don't think all of them. 22 is a lot.
22 is a lot.
It's a lot. So I would say maybe 4, 3, maybe jumped on there and said, let's take advantage of this. Sure, why not? I mean, there's some pretty crappy human beings out there who would just see an opportunity and seek it, right? What I don't understand is the whole NFL aspect about all of this. Okay, whatever. There's no trial for now. Okay? He's still got a contract, right? The NFL still saying we need to do our own investigation. Right?
Right.
The NFL specialty is football.
Right.
What is the NFL going to go and investigate and conclude, or do they send out their own private investigators, or...
That's exactly what they do.
That's what they're doing. So they're saying the justice system sucks. We're going to go do our own research.
Well, it's kind of like a company. So you got to protect, like, first of all, your brand. Because here in America, it's
Okay.
all about branding, right?
Good.
So,
Good that you mentioned branding. I'll hop on that right now. Go ahead.
so it's all about protecting the brand. However you want to see it, they have to protect. NFL needs to protect their image, and even if let's just say, for example, in an ABC corporation, there was some sexual misconduct. A guy was very aggressive sexually against a female coworker, but there's no evidence. So I mean, she accuses him. Let's just say, even if it did or it did not happen, those are serious allegations. And the police, they look into the case, they look into it, but they couldn't find anything. So is the corporation just gonna leave it as is just because the police couldn't find anything, or they have to look into themselves first to protect their employees?
Okay.
And they don't want
Let
their
me-
employees coming out and saying,
Let me stop you there. Okay. Deshaun Watson is a well-known guy.
Right.
This is in the news, right?
Yes.
So it's already out there. ABC or anyone will quickly just end your career. We're not going to do anything with you. Not any of this
It's
crap
a little
that's-
different because it's the NFL and these are like big named people. Deshaun Watson is known. Maybe not like hugely known like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, but he's
How about,
known,
like-
especially with this situation.
But they should have ended him.
Well,
Go ahead, Aaron.
you can look at the examples of. I mean, this is a different situation, but I mean, it's still pretty popular. Like the situation with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, how Johnny Depp immediately got dropped by Warner Brothers, but Amber Heard is still an Aquaman. I mean, it's just
Technically, she's not.
like.
No, I think she's gonna be part of it, a little bit part of it, but not as much.
Well, she got her
But
role reduced, but she's still in the part. She's getting money. She's getting paid for it. Like not
She's
as
getting paid for it. Yeah.
That's and Johnny Depp doesn't have a job with Warner Brothers. He got completely dropped from the Fantastic Beasts trilogy, or however movies they're gonna make. So I think in like corporations like that, it really varies, and the NFL is so unstable and so confusing with all these like things that they're on about, and I think it's just hard to tell, honestly. I mean, you guys can continue saying it. That was just like an example I was trying to set, like with big celebrities.
It's a hard situation because
really is.
It's not that hard. You just said it right there when you said branding. Okay, you have all this drama surrounding Deshaun Watson.
Right.
That's attached to the NFL, who is now attached to the Cleveland Browns. Me, as an organization, as an owner, Cleveland Browns, now I have just brought that big drama to my team, to my organization. I don't care what's going. Basically, this is what I'm hearing from the Cleveland Browns. I don't care the situation of what you did with the women. I just need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation
And-
because the Cleveland Browns put themselves in that bad situation because let's just because the NFL can still say, you know what, Deshaun Watson, you're suspended the whole year. They can say that. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
But
And
that's
then-
just so weird to me that the court system said we couldn't find anything for now. But the NFL is like, no, maybe not. We're going to do our own investigation.
Yeah, they do their own investigation the whole time.
So is it something that they know?
No, they just have to do their due diligence and showing the public that they actually try to do. So they don't want, basically, what they're most afraid of is basically the fan base. You can even bring the Colin Kaepernick situation there when he started kneeling and throughout the national anthem. And it just started affecting the branding of the NFL. And all the NFL coaches and owners, like, they didn't want anything part of him, even though he can still play. I mean, we're gonna discuss Colin Kaepernick later in the episode, but I'm just saying that they shunned him because of the branding, and it is the way. And
Yeah,
every time that there's
he
a
doesn't have a big contract, and he was fighting justice. But yeah.
Yeah, and there's been players. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, he had his issue, and they did even though they didn't prosecute him, the NFL did his investigation, and they suspended him for a few games.
Kareem Hunt.
And Reed. So there's been players on and on that just has a situation
Thomas,
going. Even
Richard Sherman.
Antonio Brown. There you go. You see, there just keeps this. So they do their own investigation and they get suspended. Deshaun Watson is gonna get suspended. I just don't know for how long. The thing that's fun. That's a little funny. That it sucks that it has to be the Cleveland Browns yet again. But they put themselves in a sticky situation. That one, he might be suspended. Like I was saying, the whole year. And if he is, he's going to be trialed on April. And depending on how that trial goes, I don't know. Maybe what if new evidence comes out in the trial, which I doubt. I think they're just going to settle. And he basically needs to go to jail or something if new evidence comes out or anything like that. So basically, they're giving him this massive contract, and they kicked out their quarterback, Mayfield, and basically they're ready for to go. That's why they got Deshaun Watson to win, and he might not even play at all. Maybe that's a possibility too. But going back to the situation, how the NFL looks, it's a
bad look.
Well, again, I think you have to go back based on a fan and a spectator on how you look at the situation regarding the law. Is it innocent until proven guilty? Let's just say, for a devil's advocate here, let's just say that he is actually, Deshaun Watson didn't do any of this stuff. And let's say, I'm not saying it happened, right? But let's just say a scenario that all these women just attacked them and said we can get some money out of this or whatever, and the guy's innocent. It has his whole life need to be paused, and his career need to be paused because of these allegations. Because it sucks for every single person that gets accused of something like this, and their whole career, they get canceled. People hating you, your reputation is done and everything, and you're innocent. That would be really sucky. So the charges were dropped by a grand jury. There is still that case that's going to be talked about. The trial's going to happen probably around April of next year. So either you look at it and say well, let him have his life until the trial happens, and then if it comes out that he's guilty, then we'll figure out his punishment. Or let's just pause his life and until things clear up.
It's fine. Look, don't pause your life. Go ahead and start getting your whoever.
Well, that's what the NFL did. They're just letting him continue having his contract.
But the NFL, but these organizations like Cleveland Browns, they give up how many rounds? Or was it 3?
Let me look that up.
3 first rounds, I think. Plus, they got a PR nightmare. A PR nightmare. It was 3 first rounds.
Watson and a 6th-round pick to Brown. First round pick for 2022, 2023, 2024. So yeah, 3 first round picks, 3rd rounder in 2023, and a 4th round for 2022 and 2024.
So yeah, basically
I just find this whole thing a little too awkward. I can get, like you mentioned Antonio Brown and who else did you mention that had an issue? Ezek. But this is 22 women.
I know, it's a lot.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
So you can't treat it like all those other cases. This is 22 women.
Why not? You have to take every single it's not like every time somebody gets charged, it's like, whoa, but it's, you have to, because there's more women, or not every case is special. You have to take them as okay, we have to look at the evidence and see if he's innocent or guilty. Like every other, there's a process to each I guess each claim. So you just have to take each one how it is, and just take each one. You have to be consistent, basically. You can't just do a specialty because there's more people involved, so we have to do this or we have to do that. Every single one has to be consistent. So again, it really depends on how you look at it as a spectator. Either it's innocent until proven guilty, or you pause his life until he shows if he's guilty or not.
It's because now I'm remembering Didn't Kraft get like caught on camera doing some shady stuff and he's fine?
I don't know if he got caught on camera, but I think they saw him outside. Well, yeah, inside. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I think that he was caught on camera going inside these massage parlors, and yeah, and it sucks. It's a really sucky situation that these owners like are not they're not being taken accountable. Also with the Commanders owner, there's been a whole bunch of shady stuff going there, and there's not a big investigation. But unfortunately for the players, they're looked at in a different scope for some reason.
I just think it's a bad look, honestly, Andy. It's just.
So what do you think that they should have done, the NFL, to not make it
I
a
would have
bad
stayed
look?
stayed away from him. I let it go to trial
No,
next.
but you have to suspend him then.
Then I'll suspend him.
You would suspend him right now, so pause his life. That's
pause your
view?
life.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you, Aaron?
I think it's very tough. It's a lot of, there's a lot of like it's like I guess, I don't know, some people can argue it's black and white, some can say like it's just a lot of gray in it, but I mean I do kind of agree. And it also depends on the situation. Some people can like find that, you know, the number of people accusing said player should be taken into account, or you know, some others say like, oh no, like you were saying, Andy, treat it fairly like every other case, you know. And I think it just really depends. And like I said before, the NFL is so random sometimes that you can never guess with these guys, and you can't really put your finger on it, which is why there's a lot of talk about it. I mean, we're talking about it right now. It's always uncertain, and things get really complicated, and sometimes they're even scared to make the wrong move or the right move, you know, because they don't know. And this whole process in general it's always time consuming, you know, because you said they're not continuing until like April of next year, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's just so time consuming, and it's just going to go on for a long time. It's just how these cases go for when it's something in that big of a deal. Because, I mean, how long did the Ezekiel Elliott case last? Like a whole season?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Well, I don't remember. It felt that way.
Yeah, because, I mean, his was pretty straightforward. Same thing with Kareem Hunt. Like, for that, it was for a while.
And they caught him on camera too, no?
Exactly. A lot of that has to do with evidence, and in this case, the evidence is there's not enough
also
evidence.
Kareem Hunt and Ed Reed are also on video too.
Camera, yep, exactly. So that's a big deal. Is how much evidence do you have? So the less evidence, the harder it is to get all this evidence, the longer it's gonna take. And I mean, it really does suck because you're like, you know, you're hoping that whoever is right here, whoever's telling the truth, you know, gets like what they deserve, and whoever's wrong gets what they deserve. But it's never that easy. So it's just going to be a whole jumble of mess that we're just not going to figure out for a good while, I think. I mean, this might go on until like, I don't know, summer of next year, maybe, if it starts in April. Yeah. But
I'll give, what do you think until the end then? What's your decision? Does it look bad on the NFL or not?
What do you mean? Like, does it like what they're doing right now? The fact that he's not suspended right now?
Exactly. Then if that he has a contract with the Cleveland Browns over more than $200 million.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money.
And you still have these allegations towards him. So do they look bad or not?
I guess so, yes. Because I like to take into account the specifics sometimes, even though there's not a lot of evidence. There's a lot of people going against them. So I think maybe I'd find some way to punish him in the meantime. Not completely, but make it seem kind of fair enough to where he's not making millions of dollars and he's probably guilty.
Yeah, I agree. So I think suspension all year.
I'll give you guys my opinion if the NFL is looking bad or not. Again, I'm still on how spectators look at this. Either you look at it as a as innocent till proven guilty, or you just should make his like pause everything for him until the I guess the decision is made if he's guilty or not. So, in my opinion, yes, of course, the NFL looks bad.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though this is the NFL is something really like a major brand in the United States. It's a huge brand. There's billions and billions of dollars that are just roaming around with the NFL. And when you have such a huge brand as the NFL in the US, then everybody's just looking at it more. It's just easier to point fingers and put them into a microscope because it's such a huge brand. So when this situation comes on, first of all, I don't know why any team would try to trade for him with this going on. I mean, more than the NFL, I think the Cleveland Browns should look even worse. And any team that was trying to trade for him. If I was a team, I wouldn't even go for him if he have this situation. One, business-wise. You don't know what the heck is going to happen with him. I mean, maybe they have some type of sense that this is just going to settle and it's just going to go away and then he's just going to be suspended for 6-8 games the whole season. Who knows? So you're just going to have to eat that season and maybe get some early draft picks or whatever. And then build up more of the team for Deshaun Watson. But do you really want that negativity press going and towards your team? And I mean, you don't know how these women are coming out in interviews with like HBO, and they can come out with other interviews. I'm sure in the settlement it'll probably stop with a disclosure, like an agreement saying like you guys cannot say anything anymore. But throughout right now until then, they can still come out in interviews and still say more things, and it's just going to bring more negativity. So if I was a team, I wouldn't even have even touched that situation. And the NFL, I mean, when this is coming up in the news and ESPN or CNN or Fox or whatever, I mean, this is what people are talking about. When even if it's the Cleveland Browns, it connects to the NFL branding. So this is going under your watch. And I think that they should have come together as owners and commissioner and said we cannot do anything too much with this player right now with Deshaun Watson until we figure things out. Even though there was not enough evidence to criminalize him. Yeah. So they should have just waited on him and maybe do do some type of a payment incentive, not give him a whole contract, but just like give him some type of like normal salary or something, so he doesn't not make any money, because it also sucks that if he's innocent and he's not making anything, it's just because of what happened.
Well, that's what they did. They in the contract they negotiated with the Cleveland Browns that he would get.
I'm saying before he went to the Cleveland Browns. I'm saying while he was in Houston.
He was making money in Houston while he was going through that, right?
Yeah, he was making money. So, I mean,
and I don't think that's fair.
He shouldn't have made too much money. But I'm saying the NFL should have given him some type of, I don't know, so until this blows over. And not making a huge checks of hundreds of thousands of dollars, just something until this blows over, until we figure things out. Because you're having this major quarterback being shown and being playing like nothing has happened. So that's just my opinion. They do look bad. They should have paused, and then you can say you're doing your own investigation until this blows over, and just push it as long as you can until more evidence comes out, or there's a settlement or something. But do more of your due diligence, because right now it looks bad that this player is getting more than $200 million, like on paper, and he's being accused by 22 women of sexually assault.
I agree, for sure. It's a really tough situation, but I think, it makes them look bad for sure. I mean,
it's a sticky situation for sure. Yeah, but it looks horrible, more horrible in my opinion. The Cleveland Browns, they should be taken more into.
Yeah, that was very risky of them to do. Yeah. because
It still is. They just don't care.
It still is, yeah. I mean, they're like, I don't know what kind of desperation they're in on or what their mindset was when they were trying to pursue him that aggressively. But I mean, and I'm interested. Did any details come out on like who else was close to getting him?
Panthers
and Atlanta, I think. Yeah, Atlanta and the Panthers.
You know, are they gonna look bad too? I think.
Well, no, because I mean, just in my eyes, but people that are not really looking into that stuff, they're just like waiting for the games to happen.
Oh yeah.
Or what's coming out like on the headlines. If the Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons don't come out in the headlines, then
It's fine.
It's blown over. This is all like pushed by media, so it's all on media.
Yeah, agreed. You guys have any final thoughts on that?
I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, pretty much.
Agreement.
Yeah.
I agree that he should be suspended the whole year.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean,
until his trial.
Yeah.
So without pay?
No, he already got his.
Before, like, okay, so you're saying right now
without paying, I
even before the contract with the Cleveland Browns, just suspend them.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are a quarterback of the NFL. You should know better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty
What if
much.
it's a lie? Let's just say he's innocent. It is what it is.
I mean, he already has a lot of money right now, no?
Yeah.
You think he can live with that for like a year?
Well, I mean, it sucks for him if he didn't do his financials correctly. If he didn't manage them correctly.
Oh, that's his problem.
Have any money at all? Yeah, that's his.
That's his problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. He got paid. He's got money to live for a whole year, basically, easily.
For more.
Yeah. How much was it?
I don't know, but
too much.
But
look, it sucks that he if he is innocent, right?
More
but
money,
you know,
you gotta play it safe. This kind of stuff is, you don't mess with that, And if he is innocent, then the ones accusing are gonna look really bad. But what
are they though? People are not even gonna know him. Know them. Mostly the ones that are gonna be looking bad here is Deshaun Watson. Them, nobody even knows their names.
But then that's
what
if it's not true.
Yeah.
If it's not true. If it's true, then yeah, no.
At one point, does it like? Because I don't know exactly. It's like I'm not that well like informed on like the legal measures on stuff like that. Like, what happens if you just falsely accuse someone of such thing? Like, do they get punished? Like, what do they have to do to take some kind of punishment?
I think that's the situation that you brought up with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That Johnny Depp is suing Amber Heard. That's saying all the things that she said is wrong.
Yeah.
And
okay.
It's the other person needs to pay.
You're right. Defamation, right? That's what it's called, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, he can countersue them if he wanted to.
I doubt it. No, because he's such a big figure and he has a lot of money. He's just gonna settle. That's just what I think is gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyways, we'll go on to another controversial subject, I guess, with Colin Kaepernick working out for the Raiders. Do you guys think he deserves to be a starting quarterback right now in the NFL? We can start with Yams this time.
You know what? This has been going on for such a long time that I don't know if people even remember like how he even plays. But look, he hasn't played since 2016. I think the last time he was in the field, Mahomes was in college. Like, that's how long it's been since Kaepernick days. I just don't know what to say anymore. Or should we just move on? Like, should we just give this man a shot? I mean,
he did have a shot in Seattle. Like in 2019,
sign him.
I believe.
I meant sign him.
Oh, sign him.
Like, give him a shot, sign him. I'd say just drop all the BS and just let him. Just someone sign him. Let's see what he got. Let him go through the whole, training camp. Let him compete for the job. Let's see what he got. Speaking about Raiders, because that's who he's working out with. The backup quarterback is Nick Mullins. And the other one is Stinham. I think he's from Patriots.
Yeah, he's from the Patriots.
They're the backups. I don't think they're great. I don't know who Nick Mullins is. So yeah, I would say bring him, compete for the backup quarterback, obviously not a starting job, and he feels he can be a starting quarterback. Well, let him compete for the job. If he is good, if he's not, then we move on with our lives. You're not a good quarterback. We move on.
But what about all that situation with him and it kind of coincides what we were talking about
What
with Deshaun
situation?
Watson. Well, there's still a lot of people that don't like him because of the kneeling during the anthem. Like, do you think that should just whatever and just with the brand and everything, and just teams should just?
I think they made it a bigger deal than it was back then. And if they still make a big deal, then I think the NFL just who brought it to the attention? It was Donald Trump.
What he was doing?
I mean, he was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
one of them.
One of the big names. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the reasons why it blew up so big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, the NBA has it. They have Black Lives Matter on their shirts, on the stadium,
and they got
the arenas.
They got a lot of backlash because of that during the pandemic when they were doing they were in the bubble over that Disney World in Orlando. Yeah, they got a lot of backlash, and I think it might have been one of the lower. The viewership wasn't that good at that time, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to answer the question, do I think Colin Kaepernick can be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Maybe. Sure. Why not? I haven't seen him since 2016.
I think. I think the situation for him isn't it's definitely simmered down a bit. And I don't think it would hurt the team's branding that much, in my opinion. I mean, who knows, but I personally don't think that'll be the case. I don't think he's going to get a starting position. I do think he's going to be a backup because obviously it's been years since he's played. So, for that situation, yeah, I don't think he'll be a starting quarterback, but he will be a good backup. And who knows? I mean, definitely, it also depends on his workouts, how he shows up on these what is there a certain term for what he's doing? He's just working out for the Raiders. That's it. So it just depends on how he shows there. He shows up there, and I mean, they're giving him a try at least, and for it to be coming up at such a random time, there's got to be a reason why they're doing it. Because they want a good backup, and maybe they're not really interested in the other backups that are available, either free agents or anywhere else. So I mean, it doesn't really do them harm that they do that. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna get the starting spot, but he could be a really good backup unless he shows out. Then there's that. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at his numbers, in my opinion, he only had one successful year, and that's the year that he went to the Super Bowl. They won 12-4, and I don't think it was only him that. I think Alex Smith also started that year, and then he got injured, and then just Jim Harbaugh just kept Kaepernick playing because he wanted to go with the hot hand. That's what I remember him saying. So they went 12-4, and he had I mean, it really depends on how you look at if you believe in quarterback ratings, but he had a 91.6. It was a tremendous no, actually, sorry. A 67.3 QBR, which I mean, it's a good quarterback basically when you have that. When you go into the 70s, that's really really good, and then the high 60s, that's the normal when you're a good quarterback. When you go into 60 and below, that's when 59 and below, that's when you're not that good. So in 2013, when he went to the Super Bowl, he went 12-4. He had 21 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Then Alex Smith left. I think he went to Kansas City Chiefs, and Kaepernick just remained the starter. He went 8-8, and he had 19 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And his QBR went down to 60.9, so borderline. And then in 2015, he went 2-6 and then got injured. and he had a touchdown of 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So almost the same amount of the interceptions were almost the same amount as touchdowns that he threw. And he had a QBR of 43.7. Then in 2016, he went 1-10. So basically, his touchdowns were 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 49.2.
Was he didn't he get benched that year?
I don't know. I don't remember what happened that year, if he got injured again or not. But basically, like his talent was just going down each year. And I mean, I believe that he I mean, I don't know, because it's been such a long time that he's been on the field. But there's some other, like, I think he's better than a lot of like backup quarterbacks out there. I mean, like for you, Aaron, since you're a Cowboy fan, could he be better than Cooper Rush? Like, I think that he has a good chance that he could be better than Cooper Rush.
Mm-hmm.
Or Tampa Bay, their backup is Blaine Gabbert. Is he better than Gabbert? Like, maybe. Yeah, why not? Who else? I mean, there's so many backup quarterbacks that you can think that he can be better than. And I wouldn't mind him, like, being the backup. We were just talking off football and everything. But as a starter, yeah, I wouldn't think as a starter. I mean, Seattle did, if I'm not mistaken, Seattle did bring him like in 2019 for a tryout, and it didn't work out. I mean, Seattle's not afraid of that stuff. I remember when they brought T.O. back when he was of high age, and they tried him out, and he even did a preseason game, and they cut him out and later than that preseason time. But at least these I mean, it seems like Pete Carroll like doesn't care about all that drama and just wants to know if you can play or not. And I mean, if he didn't make the team, like that, with the Seattle Seahawks, and that means that they don't believe that he was able to be better than their backup. So right now with the Raiders, I mean, I really hope that they're looking at it as pure talent to see if he should be the backup and not as a publicity stunt. Because I know that they had some bad things going on with Gruden and everything, and they just want to like spin it like, hey, we're friendly, we're in a, I mean, if you want to go political, I mean, they are in a democratic city with Las Vegas, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's all about talent, and I mean, I really don't care about his thoughts and his opinions. I agree with Yams. I think it was taking all over proportion. I mean, he wasn't I don't think he even said that he wasn't trying to.
He'd be a big sensation.
No. I don't think he was saying that he wanted to say bad things about the flag while kneeling during the national anthem or anything like that. It was just a cause that he believed. I know we can go into more about his cause and how he settled and he got more money, whatever you want to think about the situation and everything. But at that time, I mean, that's his opinion. That's why we live in the U.S. We have the right to have our own opinion, and that was his opinion. And he didn't do anything crazy. He wasn't like talking about it. He was just kneeling. So, I mean, it is what it is. However you want to think of it. I mean, I just want to know if I'm a coach or a GM. A general manager, if you can play, and if you can play, let's do this. If not, then it is what it is. I mean, I won't get him, and I don't care what people think. I mean, I tried him out, and if he can't play, then he can't play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think he's capable of being a starter, in my opinion, right now. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he will, by a slim shot. But I think. I mean, wait, so do you guys think he can be a backup sometime this season?
A backup this season, yeah, I can see that happening.
Here's the hard situation for me. I mean, it really depends if you believe in QBRs. But last year, with Jimmy Garoppolo, he had a QBR of 53.3. That's not that great, and they almost went to the Super Bowl. Before that, in 2020... Jimmy Garoppolo had a quarterback rating of 54, and before that, I think that's when he went to the. I'm trying trying to remember. I think Super Bowl was in 2019, and that one when he had a 60.8 quarterback rating. So it's a hard situation there, but we look at the touchdown situations. I mean, last year Jimmy Garoppolo had 20 interceptions and 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. 2020 he had 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So these aren't great numbers. Except the year that he went to the Super Bowl, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Let's look at another quarterback, Jameis Winston. Last year his QBR was 64.4. And that's the whole year that he played by himself and for the New Orleans Saints. But before he got injured, he went 5-2. So, and then if we look when he was playing with the Buccaneers in Tampa, he had a 57.2, 59.5, 52.0, and then he had a good year with 2018 with 66.2. But you're saying these numbers are low. And I mean, they're not low as in the 40s like Colin Kaepernick had, but I'm giving you some quarterbacks that we can agree on that they're not like superstars. But I mean, they're starters in the NFL. So, I mean, it really depends. And then, I mean, everybody knows how Jameis Winston touchdown interception ratio is. In 2021, he had 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions before he got injured. And let's go back when he was in Tampa as a starter. He had 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So it's just like crazy numbers. 2018, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. 2017, 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had a decent year in 2016 when he did 28 touchdowns, but there was still really high interceptions at 18. I mean, I guess you have to use. That's when you have to use your eye as a spectator to see like if Colin Kaepernick can still do these things. Because if you compare him with these starting quarterbacks, I mean, he could probably compete with them. But I don't know. It's been such a long time. He's not old. He's 34, so he should be able to continue playing.
He's been in shape too. I think from what I've seen, he's been staying in shape. He's like, and he even mentioned, I'll be ready whenever someone needs me, right?
For sure. Now, I have a question for you guys. If he says, okay, if you sign me and I kneel during the national anthem, are we going to have a problem?
Well, I mean, the NFL eventually took into that problem, so like it'll be up to the NFL, I think, right? Like it's just kind of like what is
I don't think
the
they
NFL
took anything
do?
to that problem. What was the problem? They didn't do anything.
No,
they just he just stopped playing. I mean, secretly they did something by kicking him out of the league, but it wasn't like, oh, you're suspended for kneeling down.
He was benched.
He was benched.
Yeah, he was benched, but that was just by the team, I think, right?
Right.
It might have been like 2 things that,
Yeah, but they're not going to announce it.
No.
I'm just saying that what is publicly like stated.
Benched.
Yeah. But it wasn't. They didn't say, oh, because you're kneeling. You can get a bigger problem if you're the NFL if you say something like that, because then you go into political. I mean, you can also say that. I mean, at work, you have to abide by the work rules or whatever. And I mean, this is not work is not the place where you can do your political opinions or whatever. It all depends on how you think. Or you can say like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, kneel down doesn't affect me. So it really depends on what you think. So,
I mean, haven't we moved on from the whole kneeling thing?
No,
like,
but
people still...
there's going to be fans always so like clinging on to this nonstop.
Exactly. So if he tells you, if Kaepernick says, if I'm going to continue with my opinion and kneeling during the national anthem, are we going to have a problem? How would you guys handle the situation?
Oh, well, I would block media.
What are you talking about?
Because
if you're the team, how are you?
I would block media from taking pictures.
You can't do that. What about the fans and their stands?
In the anthems?
Yeah.
The fans
and no one noticed.
The fans have a big voice. Oh yeah, no, they noticed.
They'll notice.
Well, now they'll notice, but no one noticed when he was doing it in the beginning, right? It was in media.
Again, I go back in my question though. What would you do now if he tells you now? I'm going to continue kneeling. What would you do if you're the team, if you're the Raiders?
I will say, okay.
You're fine with it.
Yeah.
And you, Aaron?
I think there's definitely going to have to be some kind of like, analyzing and predicting how this is going to work out for them, because they got to take into account like what's happened before, and just remember the whole process of what happened when he started doing that, and see, okay, where could this go if we just keep him and don't do anything about it. I mean, if I was a team, personally, I wouldn't go through that headache, but I mean, only because, sometimes the fans have, I guess you could say, like a powerful voice in this. And even though I did see that he was voted, when the whole situation was at its peak, when he was kneeling down, he was voted the most disliked player, but he had the best selling jersey.
Yeah, because when he started kneeling, his jersey became the number one seller.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, that's business wise, that looks pretty good. So, I mean, it's just really the media and the fans you kind of have to worry about and see if eventually it would have a big impact. I personally, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't go for that headache, but I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think I would. If he told me that, I don't think I would pick him up. But I mean, I guess it also depends. I don't know. It's tough.
It is tough, and I just don't. It's my ignorance, but it's the media that makes this a big deal. Like, the fans can talk and talk and talk, but if it doesn't get on the news, and it doesn't,
but it's going to get on the news because that's what they want.
But that's the media.
Well, yeah,
if the media just moves on, it'll be fine.
But what's your point? You can't control the media.
Yeah, you can.
How?
Talk about something else.
No, who? How are you making them talking about something else? You don't own the media.
I think it's possible that it'll be a big deal for a while, and then after a while, it's going to keep happening.
I mean, you can take that risk, yeah.
Yeah, it's that
like,
risk
honestly,
that they have to take.
Yeah. For me, if you can play, I don't care. Do it. If you can play, if you can make. But the situation is, like, I know that he's not going to be a starter. I think Derek Carr is going to be starting. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to go through that to that negativity and have fans like hate my product. So, I mean, I think fans would get more on board if he could actually win Super Bowls. But if he can't play, then why go through that drama, honestly? So, and he's a big boy. I mean, I would tell him, like, hey, I mean, you're doing your own thing, so this is going to continue going on for you. So you can continue doing your political things outside of football. You can continue fighting, and I'm all for it. And you know what? I'll even donate to your cause and everything. Or I don't know. I have to look into all that stuff. But honestly, like, yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about football and winning Super Bowls. Yeah. And in this situation, I mean, it's a headache that you don't want. It's a distraction within the team.
And I think now that you mention it, he probably already has his own platform already. That he can speak whatever he feels in his own political stance.
I just said an example. Like, if he did tell you, like, I'm going to continue kneeling down, what would you do as a team? Would you sign him and say, I don't care? Or you continue it? Or you tell him no?
It's a form of freedom of speech at the same time, so I can't tell him no.
Well, you and I have jobs. Like,
were people kneeling down? Were people kneeling down in the past, 2 years?
Yeah, they still continue to.
Yeah, but he's the face, and like you say, it's the media. Mm-hmm. But you can't control the media. They're going to be doing what they want to do for people to watch and look at their whatever they're putting on for you. So, trust me, if whoever signs Kaepernick, one of the biggest things that's going to be on that day is Kaepernick kneeling down.
Perhaps, yeah.
I 100% guarantee you, they're
What
gonna
if
all
he
look
was-
him to see he's continuing kneeling down,
W-
and like Aaron says, there's gonna be fans that are gonna be pissed off, and there's gonna be fans that don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't really have anything else to say with that. I think
Maybe if
it's a
he didn't suck in
50-50.
2016, maybe the fans wouldn't have such a big deal about it.
I mean, his numbers.
What if he did What if he did go to the
outrageous.
Super Bowl and won? Maybe
Yeah,
they would not have a big deal about it.
well, maybe not the 49er fans, but I'm sure that there's some other fans from other teams that are gonna still hate on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's always gonna be fans that are gonna be hating the situation. There was so many videos that came out at that point. They're saying, "I'm quitting the NFL. I'm not gonna watch this sport anymore," and this and that and this and that. Which, I mean, it's your prerogative. You can do what you want. I'm just gonna continue watching, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's all up to you.
Mhm.
But it's a branding thing for them. It's still a product that they're putting on for you, and it's your decision of what you want to do with your product. You still, I mean, you can say that any bad publicity is good publicity, or you don't believe in that stuff and you just don't want that negativity coming to your product.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
First, let's see if he if he gets signed
Yeah,
first
he has
of
to
all.
sign first, and then I think that's the next step for it to be like, okay, this is like the media is gonna start picking up on it more.
But
I
you don't
mean,
never know. Josh McDaniels is a type of coach that might just take the chance on him. Look, he's the one that took Tim Tebow in the first round with the Broncos. So you never know.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Only 2 questions because that was kind of like, I guess, a little bit lengthy. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
None for me.
No.
Good talk, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, you can follow us on our socials, right? It's Instagram on football_tailgaters. And
Correct.
what else?
You can do YouTube as well. Just look for Football Tailgaters. I know that's a little hard to search in YouTube, that we're not still like there in the top part when you look at it. So you just have to look for our logo that we have on Instagram.
Mhm.
And we're building a TikTok as well. So look for that TikTok as well.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, until next time, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.